All right. Today, let me edit this video real quick. Properties, do properties. We're gonna take down. Take down the exposure. Just a tad. And I just need to grab my screwdriver. We're going to try to do this pretty quickly. Screwdriver, super storage, Q-tips, alcohol, iron is hot. Okay. I'm actually going to record this one this time, and I say that every time, but this one I'm actually going to do. So I'm going to adjust this real quick. Okay, so today we are going to be installing a super storage into a US Super Nintendo Classic Mini. In the package for the super storage, you will have received 3 pieces. You'll have a ribbon cable, the board adapter that will actually be soldering, and the micro SD connector. So you can put that aside for now. First, we're going to disassemble the Super Nintendo. To do that, flip it over. Underneath, you'll find 4 black feet. You can lift these up. You can use a flathead screwdriver or something like that. A spudger. I usually use my fingernails because they're pretty easy to get at. And then under here there are 4 screws with a Phillips head screwdriver. So I'm just going to undo these 4. And then redo them because I didn't do them enough the first time. And this one is being a real pain. There we go. Alright, so now you can flip it over on top, and you're going to want to take this top cover off. In order to do that, you have to be careful when you take it apart. This one seems to be stuck for some reason. There we go. When you take it apart, you'll have a ribbon cable right here. So you want to lift away like so. You can undo that ribbon cable, and then you can set the top assembly aside. Now, undo these 2 cables for both controller ports. And then there should be 5 screws on the motherboard and heat shield. There's 1 in each corner. And then there's 1 in the back middle here, kind of by the USB port. Now you can lift the board out and then set the bottom aside. To take the heat shield off, you'll have to kind of twist and pull, like so. If this comes off, this thermal pad, you can just put that right back on there. Try not to touch too much of it with your fingers. And then now we have the bare board. This is actually what we're going to be soldering to. we want to be looking at not this side but the other side. You can tell which side is the correct side by these pads here. This is actually what we'll be soldering to. So I'm going to put this in my PCB device so you can get a better view. Like so. So to actually do the soldering, let me change the focus here real quick. To do the soldering, you will need a soldering iron, preferably one that you can do with a temperature control. If you have like one that is like a 30 watt or 65 watt, that's going to be way too high, and you will probably damage the board if you use it. So get yourself a temperature controlled iron. They come in handy for all sorts of electronic projects. I have a Weller WES 51 that I will be getting rid of someday soon. So now you want your packet for the super storage. You can open that up, take all three parts out. We're only going to be using the board adapter currently, which looks like this. This install is for the Super Nintendo. If you have the original Nintendo, it will actually go on this side of the board. You'll see it kind of fits in. There's some pins on this space. But since we're doing the Super Nintendo, we're basically going to put it right here. In order to do that, I'm going to take some tape. I like to use Kapton tape, though it's not necessary. You can use Scotch tape. Try not to use like duct tape or anything like that. That tends to leave residue. And I'll show you how I put on the tape in just a second. So what I like to do is I like to take a piece of tape and just kind of put it on this flat part of the board here. And then I line this up however it's going to fit. And then just tape it down. Next, you'll need some flux. If you don't have flux, you definitely need to get some. It makes this so much easier. I am using Antec NC559. After we apply the flux and do soldering, you'll need to clean it up with some isopropyl alcohol, which I will show you how to do. So, now that we have the flux applied and the pins that are aligned, we can take our solder. And we can do a couple points. We're going to do these first 6, and then we're going to move on and do the last 2. A good solder joint for this, you will see, will try to flow from the top of the green board to the top of the black board. Those look pretty good so far, so I'm going to go ahead and take off the tape. I'm going to take some more flux, put it on these last 2 pins. And then I'm just going to solder them. This last point here will be a little bit tougher due to the way that Nintendo designed the thermals on this board. This light green here is copper underneath a solder mask. What that means is that it will dissipate heat easier, so it usually takes a little bit more to get this sticking. And again, you want a nice clean solder joint. You don't want any ice cream tops or Hershey morsel tops or whatever you want to call them, chocolate chipping. They should just be semi-bulbous. So So that looks pretty good. That's a pretty good solder job. Now I'm just going to take some isopropyl alcohol. I use 91%. I'm pretty sure you can use vodka, but I wouldn't recommend it. The smell is not great, unless you love the smell of vodka. I am not one of those people. And we're just going to clean this up here. I'm also going to hit it with a microfiber cloth with some isopropyl alcohol on it. It just kind of makes it a cleaner job. So now we can take the board out of the PCB vise, like so. We can take our bottom, and you're going to want to take your ribbon cable, undo this locking mechanism. Like so. Put this in. I'm going to put the heat shield on as well. Remember here there are 5 screws, one in each corner, and one here between the USB port and the HDMI port. Usually what I like to do then is wrap this cable around the ribbon cable, put it in like so, and then we can take the micro SD card slot. It's the same thing, it's got a little locking mechanism. Put it in like this. And then usually what I like to do is either tape this, or what I've been doing recently is using my hot glue gun, which isn't heated up yet. You don't need to remove the heatsink, but it's a good idea to. Just for the hell of it. And make sure that you don't scrape the board or anything like that. And I'm currently recording, and I'm going to have to do a cut because I didn't remember to heat up my hot glue gun before I started this video. So, that's fun. I do like this glue gun though. It's battery operated. Dum-de-dum-de-dum. Alright. I'm trying to keep my desk under control these days, but that doesn't seem to be working all that well. I got too much trash, that's the problem. Just waiting for this to heat up. This video is going to be, I'm at 13 minutes right now. This is going to be my shortest video at like 10 minutes, all said and done. but I forgot to heat up the glue gun. You try mounting it into a slot so the SD card is removable. I'm assuming you mean by like externally removable. I've seen people that have done that. The only place I can really see to do something like that is without modifying the case is right there. You can take this controller flap out. I have heard of people doing that, but I generally don't do it just because I'd rather not cut holes in people's systems. I haven't done it for mine because I don't want to cut a hole in my system. No, I can't get this back in. Okay, so now that my hot glue gun is heated up, I'm just gonna put a little bit here, like so. That's a little bit messy. We'll clean that up. And then you want to make sure not to completely sandwich it against the heat sink, just in case something shorts out or something like that. Just hold it there for a couple seconds, and then we can get rid of some of this spider webbing. So that is a successful install. All we have to do now is put the top back on. So we're going to take the top and the ribbon cable coming from the top and plug it in here. There's a little black line. When you insert it all the way, that black line should be just visible. And then you can put the top on, flip it over, and then just do the last 4 screws. Okay, that's it. And then we can just put the last 4 feet on. I should say the only 4 feet. Like so. And that's it. That's a successful install, so I'm going to send this off to the customer and we should be good to go. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments, or you can visit the store at echo10.io. That's echo10.io. And there should be some links to get some help, contact links and everything like that. So thanks for watching, and game on. Okay, so that was my recording. That's all I'm streaming today. So thanks for watching. I only have one to install today. They've been coming in kind of slowly. I might end up doing some PlayStation Classic stuff soon, but I'm kind of working on some Xbox mods right now and trying to get that figured out. I'm trying to do the 128 megabyte RAM mod, see if I can do that. I found a place to source RAM chips from for those, but I don't know if the RAM chips work, and unfortunately pretty much all of the Xbox systems that I have are 1.6s, so they don't have the RAM slots. They took those out in the later revisions. But I've been doing LPC rebuilds and mod chip installs. Those are really easy to do. It takes all of 20 minutes. So I also have some capacitors coming in for my Xbox because it's got some weird graphical glitches to it. The pound HDMI cable, people said that replacing those caps would probably be a good idea, so I'm probably going to do that on cam. Those will be in the next couple days, hopefully this weekend. I did end up getting, let me see if I can pull it up here. I did end up getting a really awesome original Xbox lot the other day. So I ended up getting this system and all these games. There's 54 games. There's notable things like Stubbs the Zombie, complete in box. 20 out of the 54 of these games are brand new. I was trying to think where's Conquer? Conquer's in here somewhere. I can't see it off the top of my head. But Conquer Live and Reloaded is in here, and it came complete in box, factory sealed. So I was pretty happy about that. That's worth quite a bit of money these days. And then also like Ultimate Spider-Man's in there, complete, which and sealed, which is like $55 or something like that. So I'm pretty happy about that. I basically went in and I wanted these 4 controllers here. He listed it on Facebook for $15, and I said, sure, I'll pick those up. All the control sticks look to be in good condition from what I could tell from the crappy image that he sent, or he put on Facebook. But then I went in person and they were like brand new. I was like, oh, do you have any games or systems? And he's like, oh yeah, sure. So he came out and he had these 54 games, which I was blown away that a lot of them were still new. And then he came out with this Xbox, which is like his daily driver or whatever, which I think is a lower version. So we're gonna try to do a mod chip and RAM on this, if not a TSOT flash. And I'll probably do that on stream and try to record a video for that. If that ends up being the case, I'm also going to try to record with my actual good camera, so we'll see how that goes. And then this is the good one, an original Xbox Halo Special Edition, complete in box, at least mostly complete. I don't think there's documentation in there for it, but the controller it came with the little Halo jewel on it is in there. It's wrapped up, brand new, hasn't taken the twist ties off of it, video cable as well as the power cable, and the system looks brand new. It's got the original plastic around it. The tape's been torn off of it, so I don't know if that's ever been used, if it's ever been open or turned on, but it's in really good condition, so I'm pretty happy about that. And then there was this other blue controller, which I'm pretty happy about. So we're going to be doing some stuff with that, which is going to be pretty fun. I'm probably going to sell that Halo one, just to recoup some money. I'm going to sell most of the games as well, because a lot of them I don't really necessarily care about. There is like the Halo 2 limited collectors, which is the steelbook version, which is pretty cool. I'm pretty happy about that. And I might keep the ones that are they have the upscaled versions on the Xbox One, because playing those in 4K would be really nice. 4K, 60 frames a second. Yeah, so some Xbox stuff coming up. I'm trying to source a PlayStation Classic, because I don't really want to buy another one. So I'm trying to source a PlayStation Classic that I can do the storage upgrade to, as my previous attempts were no good, and I only have one good board left here, which I don't really feel like sacrificing. Someone in the Discord chat today in Sony support was asking about their system. It seems to be not working. He said that it started smoking, so he ended up taking it apart and sent me a picture. We'll sent the channel a picture, and the USB hub here. Let me get my camera back. Yeah, this USB hub right here has a giant old hole in it, which is pretty fun. So I have a couple bad boards that I told them to send it my way. I'll take it, I'll do it for free just for once on camera, and hopefully get some cool stuff out of that. I'll record that too, just in case other people have those problems. I don't think you can really source these chips that easily, because I couldn't find any data sheets on it, and if you can't find any data sheets, it's usually pretty hard to find. So you probably need a donor board in order to do that. But I'm also going to be doing the power mod in that video, in which I'll actually be replacing the actual resistors with some cheap bridge ones. I got a nice little book of resistors and capacitors, so that should be fun to do. So yeah, that's still need to find a board. Yeah, they're down to like $30, but still not necessarily that cheap. I did end up buying another SNES Classic in box. I still have it downstairs. It's still in the packaging. I'm not sure I want to open that yet. Eventually I might do that as if I build this up more and I get more people watching, or I get a bigger following with Echo 10, I might do a giveaway or something like that once they become a little bit more rare. I have all the boxes for mine. I don't really care about new and sealed all that much. That's why I'm looking to get rid of those Xbox games, because if I can't play them, and the Xbox is so easy to hack anyway, and I have a 2 terabyte drive that I've spent the last 5 days starting to copy all the games to and all that stuff. So, some fun stuff coming up. I don't know, I might start to do streaming on fixing my 486 and stuff like that. I don't think anybody's interested in that, but I don't know, I'm getting kind of used to the idea of doing a vlog, which sounds gross, but I like to think that I do some pretty cool things. Oh, I've got a programmer coming in for EEPROMs. So I have this mod chip. There's this mod chip here for an Xbox. It's the Duo X3. I believe I screwed up both of these BIOS chips and flashed the wrong firmware to it. So I will probably be looking at, I have an EEPROM and EEPROM programmer coming in, and BIOS programmer and everything like that. So I'm going to be desoldering these chips, and I'm going to try to put the proper firmware on them, and fixing them and fixing this, because I don't know if you can still find these. You can find the Aladdins pretty easily, but these dual bank ones are kind of cool just to have. And if it saves me, $8 from doing it, that's fine. We have a pinball machine at work. We have Theater of Magic at work. We actually have 2 pinball machines at work, but whatever. So Theater of Magic is one of the top pinball games of all time. And we've been shopping it, and we just found out today that the transformer might be bad on it, so we'll be replacing that. I did a recording last night of fixing the octo board, which probably wasn't all that interesting, so I didn't stream it. But so I'll be doing some EEPROMs for that and just programming that. So I have an old EEPROM programmer here, Willem, which really is only useful for this socket, this ZIF socket. That's pretty nice. Otherwise, this thing, it runs off parallel and is kind of a pain in the ass to use. It has USB here too, but I believe the USB was only used for power, if I remember correctly, because it doesn't look like there's any like PIC or AVR in here. It's all just like discrete logic chips. So these kind of, these are trash. I've been stealing parts off of it recently, headers and resistors and capacitors and shit. So that pretty much does it. I'll try to think of everything that I have to do. I might be doing some Xbox stuff this weekend. I might be streaming some stuff. So if you want to follow along, you can hit subscribe and hit the bell, and we'll see. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Have a good night.